I've got people joining. Welcome, everyone. We've still got a few more people coming along, so we'll just wait for one more minute before we make a start. So great to be with you all, and good to see you all. Well, we can see some people. Hi.
Hello. Famous faces. I don't believe it is February already. There we see the British. So let people in.
Well, welcome everyone. It's really, really good to be with you today. My name's Pete Petersley. I'm the founder of Remarkable.
Hi, I'm Kate Jenkins, and I'm the head of Community and Partnerships at Remarkable.
So we're going to take hopefully the next 50 minutes, 55 minutes or so to answer your questions, but we'll give you a little bit of a presentation as well about what the Launcher program is about. Now, today we have a quick video to share. Oh, 1 second actually. Sorry, rookie error right at the beginning.
We need to change it so that you can get some of that audio going with it at the same time.
Okay.
Pete and I are not the tech people, and we won't be setting up the weekly masterclasses, how they run smoothly. So rest assured, you will be in much better hands for this than us.
All right, here we go.
Launcher is a place for founders who want to make an impact.
It is a place for anyone who has the wildest ideas that they want to bring into the disability space.
What I found with Launcher is that I learned a lot about customer interviewing. As someone with ASD, I can find going out of my way to have conversations a little bit challenging, but I was able to get support from my mentor in how to structure those conversations.
Our idea was very much just an idea around the time we joined Launcher. We were able to gain some insights from people with lived experience with disability. We were always able to reach out to the Remarkable team. They were always really resourceful and linked us to any useful connections.
Being part of a community is key to succeeding in whatever part of life, but even more amazing when you're part of a community that has that same passion for bettering this world that we live in and having a genuine impact.
I love seeing that video.
And we want to acknowledge that we're on traditional land, the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. And in Australia, we like to actually pay our respects to people who were the original owners of this land. And this is their land, not ever ceded. And we pay our respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people across our nation. Acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the remarkable contribution they make to Australian life. We also acknowledge the disability advocates, and there are some even on this call right now, who continue to fight for the rights of people with disability. And we have both a privilege and a responsibility for the work that they've done to advocate for the rights of people with disability. Now, today with Kate and myself, you actually have kind of the understudies. You know how sometimes you go to a show and you get to see a great show, but you don't get to see the main act. Well, Kath Hamilton is going to be leading this program. She's our entrepreneur in residence. Kath's actually a former alumni. She's been through our program. She is a startup founder herself. raised over $6 million in capital, and grown her startup across a couple of different countries. And she's going to be leading the program, so you'll get to know Kath a lot more over the coming weeks for those that are in the program. But today you get to have Kate and myself. That's okay.
Sorry about that, hey? Yeah.
And just in terms of, we try and really have an inclusive culture here at Remarkable. And so we want to say that you belong. Whether you feel like you can give yourself the title of founder, or whether you feel like you are kind of just beginning that journey, you belong. You belong. You are part of this amazing ecosystem. And we're also committed to trying to make this time as inclusive as we possibly can. We have our Auslan interpreters who are joining us, and we also have live captions available that you can switch on through the Zoom automated captions as well. And we know that sometimes we don't get it right, so please share any feedback if we can make things more inclusive for you. Throughout this presentation today as well, we'll use a blend of person first and identity first language as well.
We're open to feedback, so let us know if there's anything.
Absolutely.
To add to that.
So in terms of today's agenda, I'll share a little bit about Remarkable. Kate's going to talk a little bit about the Launcher program and the support that you can get through the Launcher program. I'll talk then just a little bit about the application process, just a few quick slides on that, and give you the tips because you've come along to the AMA on what makes a good application. And then we want to open to any questions that you might have as well. So we want to make sure that any burning questions that you might have that you haven't been able to find on any of our website or other kind of collateral, that you can ask that during this time as well. So how did Remarkable begin? Some of you might know this story, but some of you might not. But Remarkable started after I met a man by the name of Alpa. This is Alpa. He lives in a small country town called Bursa in modern-day Turkey. And he was part of something at the time that our organisation, Cerebral Palsy Alliance, was running, called World Cerebral Palsy Day. And we started that and didn't want it just to be a day for a day's sake. We really wanted it to celebrate the lives of people with cerebral palsy and also count for something. So the very beginnings of World Cerebral Palsy Day actually existed as an innovation competition. And we were asking people with cerebral palsy all over the world, what's one thing that would make a difference in your world? And Alpa put up a problem that he wanted to see a solution to. And that was, he wanted to see a solar-powered wheelchair. It got lots of votes from the CP community, and so we put it out to the worldwide maker community and said, could someone make a solar-powered wheelchair? We had a university in Virginia that said, yes, we can do that. And we get to see lots of prototypes in our job at Remarkable. But this, to this day, is still one of the ugliest prototypes I think I've ever seen. This was it. On the screen has a powered chair with a fairly rudimentary frame and some wires hanging out of it. But you know what? It worked. It took the power of the sun and it put it into a battery, and it actually powered a wheelchair. And so we then gave some money to the university to ship that prototype over to Alpa. And during the conversation with Alpa, we had said, you know, what would this enable you to do? And he talked about a temple on the other side of town that he really wanted to worship in. He talked about his social life, that in the hilly area that he was in as well, it was a struggle to kind of get around town. And so within a couple of days of him receiving this wheelchair, he sent us these photos, and you can see a temple in the background there. And he talked about the way that this wheelchair had transformed his life. But for us, we didn't go into production around that. We didn't create kind of a new business around solar-powered wheelchairs, but we started to ask ourselves, how do we do this not just for one person with cerebral palsy, but how do we do it at scale for people with disability? And so that started the journey that we had around really looking at ways that we could scale technology. And maybe kind of you can just agree, nod, you can smile for those that don't have cameras on. think about kind of some of the technologies that you use right now. So if you've used speech to text, or you've typed on a keyboard, or perhaps you've used video with captions, we started to see the ways that disability has actually been an incredible driver of innovation, mainstream innovation. And we really wanted to see more examples of that recognised. We also wanted to make sure that we have impact in areas that require more technology. So things that perhaps either there aren't good enough solutions, perhaps their solutions are expensive, or they're monofunctional, or they are clunky and have a really bad user experience. And so we wanted to see this impact happen across, and we've listened to the disability community around this, across these 5 impact areas. So living well, of communication, learning, moving and working as well. And we've asked people in their application to see, does your solution track to any of these areas? Sometimes it might be multiple areas, or sometimes it might not be any of them, but these are certainly areas that we want to have an impact and drive an impact on into the future. Why does this all matter? Well, we're on a mission to accelerate all human potential through tech design for everyone. And we know that 16% of the global population live with disability. We know that over 1 billion people need assistive technology, and yet in many parts of the world, 10% or sometimes even less in many parts of the world have access to that assistive technology. And we know that excluding people with disability represents up to $1.9 trillion, that's trillion with a T, in missed global GDP. So we know that this is a problem worth solving. We know that the world is missing out when we don't have inclusive cultures and communities. So we run programs. It is one of the kind of 3 programs that we run. We run our Launcher program. We have a mobility challenge that we run with Toyota each year as well. And then we also run our accelerator program here and also in the US as well. So you can find out more about these programs on our website as well. But also we want to help startups grow. We always say that, you know, programs are just one part of what we do. And we also talk about investment and networks as well. And so we want to help startups through the community of people. And for those that come along to our events, or if you come to be part of one of our programs, you get to know some of our community. And we've got an incredible community of mentors and coaches. We have a global community, which I'll talk about in just a sec. And then we have our investment and insights as well. So we have in our disability tech summits that there's an image on the screen of one of our startups from our accelerator program last year. Kate oversaw the tech summit last year, and that was an incredible experience, bringing together about 300 people from all over the world in Sydney to that tech summit. Then we have Scalar, invest seed to Series A in startups. We have our Remarkable Insights podcast as well, supporting the community. And our Inclusive Innovation Network is a network of other accelerators around the world as well. And we've got people that perhaps are joining us from other parts of the world right now. You can see places where you can go to also get support to drive accessibility and inclusion through some of these other incredible partners around the world. And that's resulted in a bunch of impact. So we've now worked with 170 startups from 16 different countries. We've hosted these tech summits, 3 of them in America and 1 here. Our startups have gone to raise over $120 million in capital, created over 1,000 jobs, and served over 6 million customers now across the world. So we now want to really dive into what does Launcher mean. So I'm going to hand over to Kate.
Thank you. Yeah, jump into the next one. Yeah, so I mean, really, Launcher is about testing and validating your ideas. It's for early stage startups, and it's really this structured combination of learning, coaching, and peer connection. There we go. I mean, let's talk about why Launcher exists, though. I think Pete would be more familiar with this than me in terms of like when we started it a few years ago, but really it came about because disability tech founders face different challenges to other founders. We're not like other pre-accelerator programs or developing other accelerator programs. It is a different journey. Innovating in disability, aging and health in this space, it can take longer to validate. It requires lived experience, and this is like really core to Remarkable, what we're doing. It's co-design, informed by people with lived experience, and we work with people with lived experience, and that really needs trust and time to get that right. And it's also like they intersect with systems like health, care, infrastructure. So there's that complexity. So Launcher is really a program that's designed with these realities in mind. What you get from Launcher in a nutshell really is that you get practical learning and coaching, and we'll take you through the program, a bit of an overview of what that looks like. But there's expert-led masterclasses. They're focused on like this whole process of testing and validating your idea, refining it. And then what we have is that you'll get a coach, which really helps you put those practical learnings into apply them to your goals, so you can reach your goals, help you with your decision making. And I'll talk a little bit more about the format of that coaching in a bit. It's about real world testing and validation. So we want you to test and validate your problem and solution with the people who are going to use it. So it's your end user, the people with disability. It's so important to think about who your actual customer is, and go through that process of speaking to them in whichever. There's a few different ways that we can go about doing that. And part of this process is like learning some of the skills, working with others that are actually doing this. One of our founders from Launcher will be working with us a bit to help us with validating those solutions as well, and going out to communities to get some feedback. And the other part of this is really learning from other founders who navigated similar challenges as well. So as Pete said, we have this incredible alumni, and so the program is really designed so that you can learn from others. So we're going to have founder Q&As so that you can jump on and hear about how they've navigated those challenges. And then our community network. So we have the connection to others that are building these inclusive solutions. Everyone on this call today is a person that you will want to connect with. So we make sure that the program enables those connections to happen as you go through. And so who it's for is you need to be innovating in this space of disability, ageing and health. The reason that we focus on technology is that it is scalable. So we are focused on that area. So you could be building a very low tech or very high tech product. It could be completely digital, or it could be hardware. It's just falls into this space of disability, ageing or health. This program is definitely for early stage developers. You could be anywhere from having your idea or concept through to a prototype, pilot or early revenue. It's going to help you if you have done some thinking before and you're ready to jump into testing and feedback. We want people that are open to testing and feedback. It's hard to hear. Especially I think there's a lot of people that don't want to go through this process of validating their idea because they don't want to hear that maybe it's not going to work. And this program is okay if you come out of it and your idea, you decide to not go forward with it. That's also successful for us because it enables you to focus on the next thing, or refine it and do something slightly pivot, do something else. So that's an important part of the process. And the other thing is that this is a program where we really would love people to be a part of it and attend the sessions. They are delivered virtually. It's a completely virtual program. We do all of our sessions at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. So that's because we are based in Australia and in Sydney. And so this program works best when people really throw themselves into it. So that's what we would love people that can actively participate. How that looks for you is up to you. We also recognise that you have other things happening in your life and think life can get in the way, and it can be hard to be there each week. So it's not completely mandatory to be there all the time. It's just a great part of the process if you can actively participate by being in the sessions. And so our time commitment is basically that we have, I'll give you this actually, this is a bit more of a helpful slide. We have the program is running over 12 weeks. It is 8 structured learning modules. Previously, this program was an 8-week program, but we've extended it to 12 weeks to allow some breaks to give people more time, which we're calling like implementation weeks. But you might need them just as a break week, just to have a break. But it is your opportunity to really reflect, think, maybe talk to some potential customers, expand your thinking, work with your coach, and that's why it's spread over these 12 weeks. And there will be weekly coaching sessions. This year, we've changed it so that you're working in a pod. So you get a launch pod, which is with 3 or 4 startups. So you'll be with 2 or 3 other founders. And that means that we really want to enable founders to learn from other founders. And so you can go through this process together. And we'll also create lots of opportunities that you can connect with other founders across, from other pods as well. We'll have some cross-pollination going on. And between that, we'll have founder Q&As, build club sessions, so that you can work together at the same time, get more done, and more. So there's, as Pete said, we are the understudies, so we don't want to steal Kat's thunder and take away everything that she's got planned for you across the 12 weeks. All of this culminates as well in a fun thing at the end. But basically the program journey is that it's all of the important stages that you need, everything you need to learn in order to test, validate and launch your startup. It's giving you the fundamentals, those foundations that you need for a really sustainable and scalable startup. So we go through problem definition, your customer discovery and validation, defining your value proposition and solution design. You'll have a couple of weeks off in week 4 and week 5. Week 6, you'll go into business models and pathways to making your business sustainable. And then we go through go-to-market, ecosystem navigation, so that you can think about who you need to connect with. And it all ends with a showcase at the end. And Showcase for us is an online event. We have people joining from all around the world, including our remarkable ecosystem, and everyone has the opportunity to pitch their startup, what you've learned over that program, in a video as part of that. There's some great, we actually can share it. I'll find the link so that you can see the previous showcases online. Some key dates to have a look at. So our applications, they're already open, they're closing on the 15th of February. We will be sending offers on the 23rd, and we will start onboarding on the on that day. So, and it all kicks off on Monday, the 9th of March, and that 12-week period ends on Tuesday, the 26th of May. I think we talked about this earlier, that it's really important to us though, that through the accessibility and inclusion is obviously just absolutely core to our very being at Remarkable. So just reiterating that when you're applying, or even if there's any challenges with going through that application process, we're here to help. We would love you to tell us about any accommodations that you or preferences that you have that will really enable us to deliver this in a better way, make it better for everyone. Hand over to Pete.
So, as Kate's mentioned already, that to apply, the applications are open now. They're streaming in. Please have a read of some of our FAQs. There will be some things on there, but if you've got a burning question today and not sure if it's on the FAQs, just ask it anyway. We can answer that today. There is an opportunity to upload a pitch, but it's not required. You don't have to do that if you're not comfortable to do that just yet. And just in terms of Showcase as well, it is an opt-in opportunity, and it is pre-recorded. So you record a 1-minute pitch that is strung together, and then we have that as part of Showcase at the end. It's really a good way of being able to have something that you can point to say, this is kind of fundamentally what we do, the problem that we're solving and the solution that we've got. And also something that sometimes allows other people to say, actually, I want to help you, or I want to get involved, or I've got some ideas that I might be able to contribute. So it's a really good way of starting to establish some of your own network around your startup. Completing the application form via the Apply Now button on our website. We need it to be submitted by 11:59 p.m. So that's midnight. Well, it's the minute before midnight on the 15th of February, and that's Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Try not to leave it till the last minute to apply. I know we all do it, but try and see if you can kind of sneak it in beforehand. We have had some crowding of the application process at the very last minute that caused some people to miss out in previous years, so try not to do that. We have a period where we then have screening for eligibility and alignment with the program goals, and then we have our team of judges. So they are made up of people with lived experience, former founders or founders from alumni themselves, and some of our coaching team as well. So we're really trying to kind of focus on the fit for the program as a cohort of kind of 30-ish startups that will be in the program. Then offers a test on Monday the 23rd. And we do ask you to accept that. So sometimes people will apply and then forget that they've applied. And then we ask you to accept that place in the program. So you have kind of a couple of days to accept that, but really we want to get you onboarded and starting to get ready for the launch program. So make sure you check your inbox around that. Now, again, some tips for you all, because you've shown up to the Ask Me Anything session. Make sure you just read through the application questions to help you kind of prepare for your application. Sometimes people find it best to do that kind of offline, as in prepare the answers to their questions offline, and then they're able to then bring their answers into the application itself. We always say that quality over quantity. We're not looking for reams and reams of kind of information here. In fact, sometimes we find it, or the judges find it more compelling when someone can say something that could be quite complex in a really, really precise and simple way. So we like to use this kind of, I guess, equation of we help and then insert your target audience achieve whatever the benefit actually is by whatever your unique solution is. So, and usually we actually try and say to people, try and put that into just one sentence, try and kind of have that in a really concise way. Oftentimes we bring our all of the information, we want to try and get all of the information across, but certainly trying to explain that in a really simple and concise way is a really good way of doing it. Please try and demonstrate your understanding of the product and your target audiences. So All startups, all products in markets are just solutions to problems. So you need to have a really kind of clear articulation of what that problem is and the audience you're going after. Some people try in their applications to say, oh, the total addressable market is kind of every person with disability, and maybe it is eventually, but really you're going to be starting with a particular target audience. And we want to see that you really understand how you're finding those people and how you're starting to target that particular audience. So demonstrate that you've got that really good understanding of that. As Kate said, a really, really critical part of what we do through Launcher as well is, and it's critical for any business, it's not just at the designing stage, it's critical as you go on, is running a business that really does understand your customer base. So committing to that validation of gaining feedback, testing, experimenting. Certainly when you're working with your coach, we really want to work in a precise way around the problems that you're trying to solve, those experiments that you're trying to kind of fulfill during that kind of testing and validation stage. Now, that validation can be anything from, is this a really good idea? Is this actually going to fly in a market? Through to actually we're at a slightly more advanced stage and we're actually trying to validate an aspect of what our business is doing. So your coach will be able to kind of work in a way that adapts to where you're at. And then I'd say lastly as well, just share your passion, share why you're passionate about this. I think Remarkable is made up of remarkable people that are wanting to make an impact on this world. And our alumni are all doing that. They're all making an incredible impact in this world. And so share your passion as to why you want to do this. What is your why? What is the driving force that you kind of have behind you and why you'd like to be part of Launcher? We really love to see that. And certainly the judging community love to see that as well, our assessor community. So I'm going to pause there. I think.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Now we might. I might stop sharing screen. We've got the other. I mean, the last slide is really emphasising 15th of February. I think you've got that down pat now, and you can all read on the website as well. So I'll stop sharing there so that we can kind of have full screen. Now, when it comes to we've got some chat here already. When it comes to asking questions, you can come off mute. If you'd like to share your video as well, you're most welcome to do that. Or if you're not comfortable to do that, you can just do audio only, or you can throw your question into chat as well. So we'll just have a look here. We've got a couple of.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. My apologies. I am not good at multitasking. I did not see your question. So estimated weekly commitment of time. We do say it's at 3 to 5 hours that we talk about. And we do say like it's, 5 hours could be depending on, you've got your masterclass, which is an hour. And then you'll have your coaching session that you have an hour, and then there's that time for implementation that you need to allow for.
Great. Sorry, Kate, I just came off mute because I'll just follow that up. Thank you. Hi. So that time, would you say that's within business hours? And so the reason I'm asking is I'm just trying to work out, like I also have a full-time job, so this is, as many startups sort of starters while you're working full time. So I'm just trying to work out the time off sort of within business hours. So I'm assuming the masterclasses would absolutely be in business hours. You've already answered that for me. And then the coaching sessions, are they usually within business hours in Australia as well?
You know what, that is up to your coach. So when we go out to our coaches, we ask them as well what their availability is. And we'll ask you as well what works best for you, and then we can match you with coaches that have that capacity to be able to do coaching after hours or Australian business hours, because this is definitely a part-time program. We do not expect you to be missing out or to get in the way of your job. So
Yeah.
absolutely, the main thing that's in business hours would be masterclass, as you said, and also if we do potentially do any founder ask me anything or Q&A, sometimes they would be in business hours and sometimes we can do them after. It partly depends. We're just trying to get the right time of day that works for as many people in the cohort. And we are at the end of the world over here, aren't we? So that means we kind of have to do it before from early in the morning or up till about 1 o'clock for the US, best time for the US.
And Stephanie, we've tried to, depending on kind of where you are, I think you sound Australian, but
yes, I am. Sorry, yeah, Brisbane. Well,
yeah,
Gold
okay.
Coast.
So
Yeah.
we've at the moment got it tentatively in for that 12 to 1 p.m. AEDT, so that will be the hour different for Brisbane, but sort of that lunchtime kind of period, so that we can, hopefully people can kind of extend to that full 60 minutes for their lunch and then have time afterwards.
Yeah, great. Thank you both.
No worries at all, Stephanie. We've got a question here from Michelle. If the applicant's in stealth mode, would it affect the process being approved to join or participate? No, absolutely not, Michelle. So certainly kind of we don't force anyone to do the showcase at the very end. If you want to kind of keep things a little bit private, and then how much you share kind of during the master classes and those sorts of things, that's completely up to you as well. So the only kind of other thing I just mentioned on that, we don't tend to, and this is in the FAQs on the website, we don't tend to sign any NDAs. It's just that we see lots and lots and lots and lots of startups. And so we can't have our coaches or the Remarkable team signing any NDAs just because we do see lots of early stage ideas. And so we don't want to get anyone in trouble around that. Bertram, yes, the pitch video, you've said, did I understand correctly? The pitch video is not required, but it is a possibility. I've submitted an application, would have been happy to prepare a pitch if this would help. More than happy for you to send a pitch along if you feel like that's going to augment your application, but it's certainly not mandatory and not required if you don't want to add that to it. So if you feel you've been kind of nice and concise and that sort of thing, but is there anything else you want to ask? I can see you on screen there.
All right, thank you very much.
No worries at all.
I think we put that there because we know that there are so many different ideas that people apply with, and different ways of communicating them. So we just want the options to be there for you to share in the way that makes sense to you.
So question here from Jenny. Building out a social engagement platform where one of the ways to engage is visiting socially isolated older adults locally. So beneficiaries would include older adults, but primarily users are the community members themselves. Would this be within Launch's scope? Yes, it would be. Yeah, definitely. As we said, we're focused on disability, aging and health. We do see lots of crossovers between disability and aging, and so certainly this is within the scope. So Jenny, I can see that you're there. Anything else you wanted to kind of clarify? I love that you're active while you're kind of listening to an AMA as well. That's just taking the dog out for a walk. I love it. That's fantastic. But does that answer your question? You can just give us a fantastic. That's great. Thank you. We've got some nods there. That's great. And I think that's it on there. So anyone else want to come off mute or want to enter anything else into the chat there? Please go for it.
I've got a couple of questions, if I could.
Go for it, Renee.
On the back of that discussion around NDAs, when we're in our pods doing, working on our ideas, is it really up to then the founders to manage how much information they disclose to co-founders and so forth?
It is absolutely. So, and one thing to note, I guess, around that is that we do try and make sure that there's an opportunity for that of co-learning that makes sense as well. So, so having some startups that are in similar spaces, we won't put people that are competing against each other directly, but in similar spaces, we certainly like to do that because we do believe that there's so much learning that happens. It just amplifies the rate at which people can move. But it is totally up to you. You do have some specific one-on-one time as well with your coach. And so you can discuss with your coach at the beginning of the program how you'll manage that, what you feel comfortable disclosing. Certainly, we don't want you disclosing anything that could be used by a competitor and taken. Having said all of that,
around as well, we're flexible on that. We wouldn't want anyone to feel like they couldn't share as much as they wanted to, because I think it's the more transparent or the more you want to share, the more you're going to get out of it. So, yeah, but yeah, I can understand if you don't want to share confidential things, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. My second...
one other question, Renee.
Yeah, my idea is very much in the health space, and I was wondering if I needed to have a connection to disability other than it being an inclusive app, and I'm getting the sense that that's not necessary. Health is one of the areas that you're interested in.
Yes, absolutely. So
yeah.
That's great.
And in terms of getting up a minimal, an MVP, is there much assistance offered in terms of the tech? Like if you're trying to test a tech platform, is there limits in how far we can take that? If the founder doesn't possess the actual build skills.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I guess a couple of thoughts on that one. So some of that could be really being clear with your coach about kind of what are we hoping to prove with this. So is it that we are trying to prove out that the technology is able to be built? Are we trying to prove out that the solution that we do have is the right solution for this market? I think it probably does come down a little bit to kind of what is it that you're trying to achieve. 12 weeks sounds like a long period of time, and it is, and we're going to take you kind of a long way during those 12 weeks, but it's also a very short period of time when it comes to kind of building tech. So so we'd want you to be kind of really clear about where are you at currently and what is it that you're hoping to achieve during those 12 weeks. So
and who do you need to help you as well, because that's a really good point of if you're a non-technical founder, we definitely have founders in our network that are like you, a non-technical founder, but it can be good to learn from those type of founders how they went through that process of finding the right people or platforms or whatever it is to work with. So there's a lot of options.
Start of the month special for the month of January.
Got it.
And I think we've got a little bit of background noise. There we go. And then thanks, Renee, for those questions. Please shoot through any more if you've got any others. We've got one on chat from B. Is the program aimed specifically at Australian markets? Are there any of the coaches US and UK based? Yes, we do have coaches both in the UK and US. I would say that obviously being an Australian-based organisation, founded in Australia, our networks are largest here in Australia. However, we have been working with founders both in the UK and in the US as well. So we do have coaches in both of those locations that we can connect startup founders to. We know that markets are different in different countries, so we really do understand that it needs to respond to local market conditions. So where possible, we do try Obviously, it comes down to what is your startup trying to do? Do we have the appropriate coach for you? So there's always a question around availability, but where possible, we'll try and connect you with a local coach.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, B. Any other questions? All right.
Yes, Peter. We actually really do. And apologies I didn't put that in, but one of the I can tell you a couple of startups. Peter was asking about like success after finishing the program. And particularly from Launcher, we've got some great stories. And one of those is Storm from By Storm Beauty, who you would know, hopefully. Yes, she's had some great success with a partnership with Celeste Barber. Her product is it's very low tech, assistive tools for makeup, which makes it easier for everybody to use makeup and the beauty industry more accessible as a whole. So Storm was part of the cohort in 2024. In the video that you saw at the beginning, we had Signhow, who went on to do Accelerator after being in the cohort in 2022. We've just had Marco Polo, who came through Launcher in 2024, and then they went on to Accelerator.
Yeah.
So there are a few of the great startups that have come through our programs. I mean, the other opportunities we've had some of these startups be part of the Toyota challenge as well, which had given them the opportunity to work with the experts, engineers and designers from the team at Toyota. That's through our partnership with them, and they've had the opportunity to prototype and develop their ideas and like products with that team.
And that's a little bit to Stephanie's question there. Within your networks, do you have connections to manufacturers who build physical prototypes? Yes, we do. Again, depending on kind of your location, many of those are in Australia. We do have some connections to China as well, and Vietnam. And depending on kind of what type of work you're looking for to be done, if it's in the med tech space, we do have connections to people who kind of help you look at that whole regulatory pathway as well. If it's kind of more a hardware product, as Kate said, we've also got great relationship with Toyota that specifically is looking at mobility-based solutions. So it's about kind of getting people moving or things moving. Then we've got access to 2,000 engineering hours with Toyota engineers, which is fantastic. So there are a number of different options there, and our coaches as well. So again, being really clear about what your goals are within Launcher, so that if that is one of your major goals, then we'll look to who within the cohort we can connect, or within the network. Georgia, if you're applying as an individual and not in a team, would you be put into a team? No, so you would be treated as an individual within that. So your startup as a single founder, you would be treated as a single founder, solo founder. The pods that Kate mentioned before is when we put you together with other startup founders that are either working either at a similar stage or in a similar kind of market or demographic or kind of space. It might be that you're all working on transportation apps or kind of in that space, or it might be kind of that you're focused on a particular area. So yes, so you would be on your own. And yes, Lisa should have actually have an opportunity for Lisa to introduce herself. Actually, Lisa, do you want to just quickly come off mute and say hi to people?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa. I'm Head of Disability Tech Innovation at Remarkable. I'm an occupational therapist by background, worked in disability for nearly 30 years now. Yes, so I'm available to support people around questions around disability sector and networks and funding, and also support around our user feedback community.
And
There's a question, Pierre, like talking about as well, like, is it possible? Hello, by the way, great to see you. Is it possible to find a co-founder during the program? Look, anything can happen. A lot of people make incredible connections during Launcher and go on to do totally different things after the program. So, but it's not specifically what the program is about.
Yes. And in answer to the question, is this session recorded? Yes, it is. So we will make sure that we provide that to anyone who's RSVP'd to this session. So if you don't receive that, please make sure you reach out to us and we'll make sure you get a copy of it afterwards. Any other burning questions or things that you may still want to ask? And apologies, we keep looking up because the screen is sitting above where the camera is. But for those who keep seeing me or Kate look up.
Well, you can easily reach us as well. Email us at hello@remarkable.org is the email that we can both reach, and Lisa as well. So feel free to reach out to any of us that way, or what did you say?
Thanks, Pierre. Pierre said that according to neuroscience, looking up is good for the mood. So there you go. That's really helpful. And Stephanie, another question from you: is this a prerequisite for Accelerator or Scalar? It is not. So certainly, kind of, it helps us to get to know founders, and certainly it helps, but it's not a prerequisite. It's not kind of one specifically flows to the next, but certainly it does help us. You're on our radar when when you apply for programs and when you're in programs. We can certainly put all of our efforts into supporting you and supporting your development as well. Danya, would you like to come off mute? You said you've got a question.
Hi everyone. Hi Kate. Hi Pete. Kate,
Hi.
I met at the event. She was helping me at 6 a.m. Do you remember me?
Yes, I do remember you. Yes.
I came up to you talking to you about my idea on Braille GPT. I'm sorry, I just joined the meeting just because I had another meeting, but I really wanted to make it to this meeting. However, I had a question on your accelerator program. I'm not sure, I apologize if you have to go over it, but I don't mind if you go over it quickly. We are a startup at the moment. We are leaning towards our MVP stage. Now, what would be the best, how would I navigate through this? What's the best program to join from here?
Yeah, certainly. So MVP stage, we definitely say that Launcher is the most appropriate fit for that. So we usually say it's kind of post-prototype idea, post-prototype pre-revenue or just early stage revenue. That's kind of where Launcher is specifically best suited for.
Just to clarify, we're still building our MVP, so we need help during our MVP stage. That's what we're
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So MVP stage is absolutely perfect for Launcher. Really what we're trying to do with there is give you really the best building blocks, and you can go back and listen to the recording of this session, but the best building blocks that we think that all startups do need, and then also give you that kind of personalized support through the coaching that comes with other startups as well. So connecting startups into the network as well.
Great. And when does your applications close for that?
Well, that's a really, really good way, because we do need to wrap up very soon. So applications do close on the 15th of January. So 11:59 p.m, but we would say do not leave it until 11:59 p.m. to hit the submit button. A, you need your sleep, and B, sometimes things can go a little bit awry if you leave it to the last minute.
You said January or February?
February, sorry. Did I say January?
Yeah, all
February.
good. Yeah, okay.
So you've got is it 2 weeks basically?
2 weeks, yeah. Sunday evening, that is. So you can jump onto the Launcher onto Remarkable/Launcher, and that will take you to the Launcher page. And there is an apply now button on there. if there are any questions that you do have that you thought of after this session, as Kate said, please reach out to us on the email hello@remarkable.org, and we'll do our best to come back to everyone as quickly as we possibly can. But it's been really, really great being with you all. Thanks for being such an attentive audience. Thanks for great questions. And I probably should have said this at the beginning as well. Just the fact that you're here means that you care about something that you want to make a difference in. And that is not a small thing to do, is to go outside of yourself, to risk something and actually try and make a little dent in the world. And we hope that through the support that we can provide, that we can help you make that dent as big as possible. But just the fact that you're here, I think, is really, really incredible. And we want to encourage you to keep going, keep going. Even if you get some knockbacks on the way, keep going. It deserves the attention and the effort that you possibly can give it. So congratulations for where you're at right now. And hopefully we can be part of your journey into the future as well.
Right. Yes. Connect with us, follow us, engage with us. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you are.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Beck. Thanks, Neil. See you later. Bye.
Bye.